Giannis versus Durant. This is the matchup of the playoffs. This is what a lot of people have been wanting to see. Which team is better, as well as who is actually better against each other. So let's get down. Let's dive into who is the better player out of the two. But also, let's dig into which team is better out of the two. So to start, when Giannis is dribbling the ball and he gets double teamed, he always shies away from that opportunity. However, if he gets a full head of steam, there is not a lot of players, even Blake Griffin, cannot defend him. Next, when Giannis shoots the ball wide open, he can hit that shot. Many teams will always shy away from him when he's trying to shoot the ball because they think that somebody like Giannis, as tall and strong as he is, cannot shoot the ball. But you know what? When he's covered, he does struggle, but when he's wide open like this, when he literally has 15 feet between him and the next defender, he is going to stroke that thing all day, every day. Now, Giannis is actually a very good low post-up player. However, what we do find is when he has a strong defender physically on him, he tends to do a lot of fadeaway shots, and that gets him into trouble. He also has an issue sometimes when he's going up against a stronger defender, as we see here, and he's handling the ball getting into that low post. He again tends to do a lot of fadeaways, and if there's a stronger player on him, then he tends to have a little bit of an issue. However, when he cuts backdoor, whether it's on a stronger or weaker defender, when he cuts either backdoor or he cuts down the middle of the key, he is an unstoppable force going towards the rim. Now, when he does attack the rim, as we see here, something that you will notice is it will be harder for him to do this if his main defender actually played defense other than just basically being a pylon. Meanwhile, when Kevin Durant is in the low post, he tends to take his time and tries to find the angle as to where that defender makes the mistake, as we've seen here, and he's able to get that shot up because of his length as well. So here we can see that he is just essentially waiting for that defender to make a mistake. Remember the saying, you reach, I teach? Well, guess what? Middleton reached here. Then Kevin Durant spun the other way, one dribble, didn't even do the hop, just one dribble, one pivot, and he was able to get that shot off, and he is able to do this a lot. However, when Kevin Durant is dribbling the ball up the court, we can see that he has the better handling ability and better ability to stop on a dime, as we've seen here, so that he can make those shots. We can also see that here, where he does get pressured quite a bit by Middleton, and then at this time, he is able to take his time, he's able to be patient, and he's able to see where Middleton is going to be making the mistake. He then crossed over to attack that top foot. That top foot does drop, and at this time he's able to do that killer crossover once more because that top foot is now switched to the other foot, so now he is attacking that top foot once more. That gets Middleton down onto his heels, and now Kevin Durant is able to rise up into his jump shot. There is the factor of the length of Durant, and of course, as we see here, the height of his shot is very hard to block, and we can see that here once more where he does reach, and this is the same clip as I showed earlier, but it's very hard to block somebody whose release or set point is so far above his head when that player is already basically 7 feet tall. It also does help when you've got teammates like Jordan here who can set you basically wall screens so that you can get that ball, and then you can set up your defender to a point where he is basically not able to even stop you. This is a very deadly player. So let's look at some of the different ways that, of course, the Nets can defend the Milwaukee Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks could have to face Jordan a little bit more during this year's playoffs, mainly because he is a stronger player than Giannis, and anytime Giannis goes up against a stronger defender, he tends to have issues. So essentially, in my opinion, if the Nets are able to stop Giannis from scoring over 30 points a game, then they should have a chance to win. However, if they're going to allow Giannis shooting threes that are ridiculously wide open, there's going to be an issue with how the Nets are going to win this game, or even this series. We can even see that when Jordan leaves Giannis wide open, even though Jordan is a much stronger player, we will see issues there. However, the Nets have multiple players around them who can score, but we have to remember Milwaukee has a couple of very good defensive players, and that just comes down to, will those defensive players be able to stop either Durant, Harden, or even Kyrie Irving? Now, if they can rush Kevin Durant before he's able to do moves like this, before he's able to make these defenders make a mistake, if they're going to have players pressure him by reaching in, they need to have that other side, the weak side player, come over quickly or even before this happens, so that now they can pressure him, because with Brook Lopez coming over this late, it's not going to be very handy or helpful to be able to stop him. However, if he can come home or over earlier, so that now when Kevin Durant turns that corner or pivots, and then he's faced with another 7-footer, it's going to be extremely hard for him to be able to get that shot off over two players who are very good defenders. We have to remember that James Harden is a very prolific scorer, and that's going to be now forcing the other team, if he starts scoring, to put their best defenders on James Harden. And then if Kyrie Irving or Kevin Durant can start lighting up, this is going to give them multiple options to be able to score the basket against weaker defenders. Now, this clip was Middleton. He is a very good defender. However, I just wanted to mention that point. If Middleton is going to be stuck against somebody like a James Harden and not on a Kevin Durant, because James Harden decides to go out and score 30, well, guess what? That's going to leave Kevin Durant wide open with maybe a DiVincenzo or maybe even a Brook Lopez out on the perimeter who cannot defend somebody either this size or is not fast enough out on the perimeter to defend somebody like Kevin Durant. Now, this is a clip from B-Ball Breakdown, but I really wanted to point this out. We had James Harden pass to this player. Now, if James Harden starts lighting up or Joe Harris starts lighting up from 3, they are going to be really using this play a lot for Joe Harris. But because if they start getting the top defensive players of the Milwaukee Bucks guarding them, guess what? They can run this play with Jordan setting a pin down for Kevin Durant, and if the best defenders are on literally the opposite side of the court, this is going to open up Kevin Durant for so many different options. And if Brook Lopez is the one who is chasing Kevin Durant over, and a smaller forward is then switching off onto Jordan, we have to remember, he was part of the Team Flight Brothers, not the real Team Flight Brothers, but I mean the Clippers Team Flight Brothers with Blake Griffin. Even Blake Griffin could be setting this screen away, and both Jordan and Griffin have ridiculous hops, and we have Kevin Durant who can set up those passes where those two players could send up alley-oops literally all game long if those two best defenders of the Milwaukee Bucks being stuck on these two players will open up games for these 2 to 3 other players, or even a Kyrie Irving set a screen up top and him to chuck up a shot from the wing. And let's not forget the fact that Kevin Durant, even James Harden, they have a lot of gravity to them. So even if they do send up a missed shot, if players like Jordan or this guy or really any of their centers or forwards who are around the rim, Blake Griffin being another one, if they are around the rim and we have literally 4, sometimes 5 players around the shooter, this is going to open up a lot of opportunities for offensive rebounds and free, cheap, easy basket. So who's going to be the winner? It's going to be very interesting. If the Milwaukee Bucks cannot get Giannis to score against the Nets, let's say the Nets shut him down, I really doubt that there's going to be enough firepower on the Milwaukee Bucks for them to offset all 3 of James Harden, Kyrie Irving, as well as Kevin Durant. Now, If they can, however, turn it around and allow Giannis to get open shots and to get a full head of steam heading towards the rim, it's going to be very hard for the Nets to stop them. And in return, it's going to be wearing down the Nets' star players trying to defend him. And because of that, this series could go either way. I personally, however, am siding with the Nets to pull out possibly a 6 or 7 game series win. But let's get down. Let's see if they can do this. The game starts today. Let's see who can win. Make sure to go check out all of the equipment that I use down in the description below. Hit that like button, subscribe if you liked today's video. I'll see you guys again next time.